Welcome back to Turning the Key to Real Estate. I'm your host, Nicholas Feagley.
And Heather Petrone-Shook.
Well, everybody, Heather and I are back today with another special guest. We have Miss Amy Turnbaugh. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Good. How are you, Miss Heather?
Oh, I'm just fantastic. Living the dream today.
How's Philly?
Well, we actually had a snow flurry situation here earlier.
Oh,
Yeah.
how was your travel to the office?
5 minutes because I had to stop and pick some stuff up.
He lives across the street from her office.
I had a little distraction. So the commute was rough today.
Flurries.
So I'm super excited about this one, guys. Amy, we met during a transaction, and I instantly fell in love with her because of her energy, her vibe. I call her the golden retriever. She is so friendly, so kind. Whether you know what you're doing or you don't know what you're doing, she's a great one to have a transaction with. So, although I knew what I was doing, so it didn't bother us. But it was.
Well, wait. We'll let Amy be the judge of that.
I plead the fifth. No, just kidding. No, it was great. We had a good time.
Yeah,
we always have a good time.
So, tell us a little bit about yourself, Amy.
I am a realtor for 10 years. I have a husband and technically 3 children, although one is inherited. And he's technically not a kid anymore. He's 32.
Okay.
And then I have a 20-year-old and a 16. So yeah. Yeah. So I live in Pittsburgh. Yeah, it's fun. Yeah.
Okay.
So I love what I do and I love meeting people. I think my biggest joy of this job is to meet people like you and to work with other like-minded people. You just want to help. So
yeah. So Amy, what got you into real estate?
Funny story. So do you know Beth Shoop? She's Dillsburg area, like Central PA.
I know the name.
Coldwell Banker.
Okay.
She's like a big name in Dillsburg. So I live in Dillsburg. Big story, or a big part of my life. I'm in recovery. And I was in the food industry for a very long time. So service industry. And then I went and worked. So most of my food service industry was in fine dining, where alcohol was obviously, a big part of that. And when I got sober the first time, I knew that I had to kind of remove myself from that environment. So I went to a local diner and was working there, Bakers in Dillsburg.
Oh, I know the place.
Bakers, yeah. So I knew that I needed a temporary kind of like, all right, get myself, do something that I know how to do, get back into the service industry. So I did that. I had a brief stint in remodeling for bath and kitchens. So that was really cool. But went back to food industry and I waited on Beth Shoop and at the time, the president of Coldwell Banker at my table. So really wasn't on my radar. Had no idea, what was the next step. I just knew, hey, Amy, you got to worry about recovery, get back into what you know, just in a different environment. So I waited on them and Beth Shoop and Barb Schmidt was her name at the time. And she said, you know what, you really should consider getting into real estate. I think this will be a really good fit for you. So I went and met with Barb Schmidt and the rest is history.
So wait, question.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
When they told you to get into real estate, were they aware that you were in recovery?
No,
because that probably was not a smart idea.
No, it's not. There's a reason I went back out.
Right?
Yeah, but on the same token, from your background in the service industry and dealing with a lot of demanding people coming at you, to be able to have that at least to have that as a background, so you kind of knew, like, real estate, there's a lot of people coming at you.
Yeah, there certainly are. And in the I went to college for performing arts. So, you know, I always say that I'm a professional actor. So, for me, when the service industry for me was just another vessel for me to perform. So I really found joy in people, in making people happy, whether it was putting food in their bellies, telling them stories. And I really just started to focus on the connections that I was making, even if it was just in that, I would say, the minimal sense, because to me, that was just real for me. So it wasn't necessarily learning a script, but it was formulating, you know, the basis for what I think my real estate career was those connections that I made serving food. And so it was hard, but for me, going through that professional, I want to say theater, you begin to understand how to read a room. I'm high ADHD, high empath. So, you know, you can look at me and I can feel you, and it's a gift. It's also sometimes a lot of a challenge. And I think that that's my biggest challenge in this industry, is that I can feel and to kind of be able to put that boundary up and say, okay, I'm not going to absorb it, but I'm aware of it. Okay. So that's always been my challenge. But it has also been I think my biggest strength, because I can read the room. I can read, all right, when I'm out with clients, you're the decision maker. You know, you want to think you're the decision maker, but you're not. You know, so you can't do this thing and do it well without really understanding people. And I think that as we progress in this industry with technology, with losing the intimacy of those, you know, moments where I feel like I could sit you down at the table and I can bring you, you know, a drink and we can talk and I can tell something's wrong and sit down with you. Like, I feel like that we're losing that intimacy. So I think that the power of the agents now is learning how to bring that back, and learning how to bring that back into a sense that is authentic and it's not forced. So
or fake.
Yeah. In not perfect. You know, this industry, this job is hard. It's just hard. And I think that we do a huge disservice to think that we have to be perfect at it. I think that finding the errors, the mistakes, can we swear on here?
Yeah.
Okay. The shit that we go through.
Please, honey, it's me.
I'm like,
I don't know, 45 minutes without a word like that.
Yeah.
I can mark explicit on any of these.
Perfect.
Not children.
Oh.
Really.
Poopy de caca. Okay.
It's been a really powerful journey. In January, I'll be 8 years sober. I did have a stint back where I had about that was more than 2 years. I got sober in 2012. And then I was in the industry in 2013 and went back like really soon. Because
I understand.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about it, everything that we did was like an excuse to drink. Yeah. It really, and it still is, like, oh, you want to go talk about it over drinks, or hey, you know, and this was like pre like hardcore social media. This was like, you know, we did still have that intimacy. So it was a very hard thing to stay consistent with in recovery anyway. And then in 2016, beginning of 2016, I was at a local brokerage. They were wonderful. And they were a very celebratory brokerage, and it was New Year's. And I just said, I can't. So I went back and got sober again. And so it'll be 8 years.
I feel like an ass right now because I feel like I have probably offered you a drink at some point in our relationship.
Hey, I look at that as like, you want to spend more time with me and you want to have fun doing it. So I'll take that as a compliment all day long. I'll just have a soda. Actually, no, more like a coffee.
Oh, that's fine too. We can do coffee anytime.
Yeah.
So in your decade in real estate, what is one of the biggest challenges that you've had to overcome with maybe either the learning side of things or, just a really horrible, I don't want to say horrible transaction, but like something bad that happened during a transaction that you were like, I didn't even know this was a thing. How did this happen?
Oh, okay. So like I had one, it was kind of like when The Perfect Storm, when like, the book, I don't know who wrote it, but the book and the movie with George Clooney. Yeah. Okay. So like they had all of these, there were like 3 major storms come in, like just annihilate. And that was my 2021 into 2023, like still.
Oh, wow.
So it's been a long, I know. And so a lot of those storms, I could talk for a long time about that, but I won't.
I have a coffee shop in walking distance.
Okay, perfect. But we might need that. You want to bring something along for your coffee? You're cool with that.
There's a bar on the way.
Oh, Lord.
12 o'clock somewhere.
Right?
So my husband and I got into renovations and true like restorations. We were on a more of like a high level, not your typical flip. So I hate calling them flips because I feel like that's like, hey, we just do not the minimum, but we do the minimum to get it out to make a profit to do that. Where
a lot of people do that.
Yeah, it's a viable business. But my husband is an extreme OCD, takes pride. He is a blue collar, work with your hands, pride in his work, which is very rare in this industry too, when it's just speed and it's just speed. It doesn't really, speed oftentimes lacks integrity in the work. So we took on 2 really big projects at the same time, one in Carlisle, one in Dillsburg. So we live in Dillsburg. So we, for the first time, hired this GC to take over this job in Carlisle for us, since this was farther away. Ended up, long story short, lost 6 figures to this man. He left us with a gutted house. Learned a lot. And this is the middle of COVID. So we were trying to survive. I had some of the best years of my life as far as productivity. However, I lost an incredible amount of integrity in my work because I was focused on surviving.
Gotcha.
So, not intentionally, but I think when we are all pushed up against the wall and forced to just survive, you shut a part of what makes us great off. So, I shut that off for a long time. And so we got through that. And then that kind of ping pong, since we had 2 at the same time, we weren't prepared to carry both of those for an extended period of time. We were thinking 6 to 8 months for each of them. And both of them were like $250,000, $300,000 reno budgets, like just the reno budget. So they were big jobs. And so that pulled my husband off of the Dillsburg job into the Carlisle job, got that done. And it was a mess. I mean, a mess. And then we got that done, did not make any money, but we got it out of our expenses, off of our shoulders. And then we came over to a job in Dillsburg, and we had dear friends that went under contract with it. Was not done, but we maneuvered through that, kind of like renovating it with them. In the interim of all of that, my husband falls off the roof there and changes the trajectory. We're still trying to survive, right? My husband falls off the roof, and our trajectory for our life just changes. It just changes. And we don't have any resources at that time to really pick up any more pieces. So it pretty much fell on my husband, who's not him anymore, and a different version of him, and trying to heal through that and trying to finish this job up against a deadline, up against no money, and I'm still trying to produce. I'm the only one that's bringing in technically an income, and it's just been years and years, and it's been multiple years of this. And so in the midst of all of that, I think that that was probably the worst and the best transaction of my life so far in my career, because I didn't give up. My husband didn't give up. We still found integrity in it, although I didn't know how to communicate through that because I've never experienced it before.
Yeah.
So I lost friendship with the buyers. I lost, I think because I didn't know how to communicate, I lost, it was perceived in a way that it felt like there were multiple comments made that I didn't have their best interests at heart, you know, and that for an empath like me, like that
hits hard.
Oh my gosh, it's like it literally ripped my soul out. And I'm going like, oh my gosh, like there's nothing left. Like I have nothing, and I don't know how to communicate that. Like we are doing the best we possibly can, and our best is still, like, I'm not trying to excuse it away by any means. It's the situation we're in, and we muscled through it. But let me tell you, like I still carry that to this day because I just didn't know how to communicate. And that to me now set the precedence for my career from that point forward is communication. And it's whether I'm communicating with, you know, another agent, or I'm communicating with a client. I mean, that was really close because it was our you know what I mean? It was our property. It was our friends. It was just a lot. And I my heart breaks for what I wasn't able to do. But the perception of being ill-intended maybe is like,
that hurts.
That hurts because that was not the case. And so, you know, a part of this job, and people don't think about that. People think that we get into this and we get into it for the money. And a lot of agents are like that. A lot of agents get into this and they say, okay, well, it's next. I didn't build my business on next. Like through this trauma I did to survive, I did. But let me tell you, like, that doesn't serve that doesn't serve me. You know, and that doesn't serve my people when I'm not showing up. Like, I don't know. It just said it, that to me, that experience, and, you know, we're still working through it. So, but it definitely did. That was it. That was it. It was,
so
I'm ready for a win.
Right.
Lots of them.
And I think that you hit something there that truly is important is, you know, to the listeners that are out there, you know, you need to interview your agent, your, you know, listing or buyer agent, and make sure that they're not one of those people at their core heart that's just after that next deal, that next paycheck. You want people like Amy, like me, like Heather, that are fighting for your best interest, that do truly care. You know, hell, I've walked into houses, I turn around and look at them like, you guys aren't buying this house. Like, we can look, but this one's out. Like, because to me, it matters more about your happy and safetyness than where my next paycheck's coming from.
Right.
But I do agree with you that there are the individuals out there that are, you know, either living that way or got into it for just the money.
Yep.
And I think that there's a huge perception out there that we make hand over fist money, which is not the case.
No, and it's so interesting. Like, but when you, and again, it's setting proper expectations, right? So, like, through communication and consistently clear expectations, Corey, Jerry, brilliant man, like brilliant, like off the charts, brilliant. But he always told me that the only thing worse than an unmet expectation is an unexpressed expectation.
Ooh.
Right? I don't know. You might have
Say that again. Say that again for the people who weren't listening the first time.
Yeah. So the only difference between, there's nothing worse. Wait, what was it? What did I just say? The only thing worse than an unmet expectation is an unexpressed expectation, because it puts on you the assumption that I might be doing something wrong. I'm not fulfilling my job. I'm not And that was, to me, the breakdown of my worst transaction of my career that I felt like, but it also because of that worst transaction, I know how to move on.
Correct.
And learn from it. And it literally just comes down to being able to communicate with someone and showing that the benefit of them reciprocating. Like, I'm not here to tell you what it is unless you tell me you want me to tell you what it is you want to hear, I'll do that. But I'm here to tell you, like, these are the expectations. This is where you're at. This is what I'm understanding is you want. Like, so we're going to have to go forward in this manner to achieve X. So if you don't have those conversations and honest and in a loving, respectful way, that there's a difference with that too. I know there are a lot of agents out there that actually just like tell people what they're going to do. They're like, you're going to do this, you're going to use this lender, you're going to use this title, you're going to use this person, you're going to, no, it's not about me. That's not about me. The only way I can recommend and say, hey, you know what, I've had incredible experience. My network is my net worth. That's why you hire me, period. Like, you hire me for the people that I have in my corner. You hire me for the brokerage that supports me if something goes sideways.
Or doesn't.
Or right? Or a brokerage that doesn't, right?
We were talking about that before off camera.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, that's a whole other podcast. Can we do it? Can we do another one?
Yeah.
Please, that was so much fun. I have fun. So yeah, it's learning people, learning how to love them where they're at. And they count on you to be a stable, reliable human, period.
Yeah.
And if you can do that in this
Crazy market,
crazy
world,
crazy freaking people, then, it will be okay.
Mm-hmm.
It will be okay. It will be fine. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
Well, good question. I think it's kind of funny how life changes and then directs you, and your trajectory just totally like 100%. It's just like that traumatic experience where life just, or, my husband falling off a roof, or, I think I've stepped back. I was an owner of a team with some business partners. I've been an owner of a team for 7 years. I'm no longer an owner of a team. We have all kind of decided that we're going to journey down our own paths. And I think for the benefit of everybody, which is exciting, scary, challenging to think for myself. I'm not used to that. Not looking at my brain has thought for 7 years about how my decisions affect the team and the team's goals and the team's what's best for the team. Now it's just like, okay, what does Amy want? And I don't know. And that's really kind of freaking me out, because I thought I knew what I was supposed to do on a team. I knew, and I felt like I was successful at that. But now that I've looked at my 5-year goal with being on a team versus my 5-year goal being off of a team, it's kind of flipped on its axis. Like, it's like, holy shit. Like, I don't know. I think my path is leading me down. I've thought a lot about trauma because of just the experiences over the past 3 years. So I'm thinking to myself, our trauma, our tragedies create our trajectory, right? So, and for me, the level of that trajectory depends on whether or not I want to focus on it, you know, and my gift or our gifts are exponentially, like, I don't know what the right word is, but it's just like, to me, I look at this and I say, maybe it isn't the transaction for me anymore. Like, I look at the potential of helping maybe other agents become the best version of themselves in this industry, because I know the industry well. So, you know, I certainly don't want to take my 10 years of this business and say, okay, yeah, see ya, you know, because I really do enjoy it. And I think that I would have, you know, a lot to give back. And I think it's going to look different. I think it's going to look really different.
Okay.
Interesting.
Well, we might have to circle back with you even in 5 months.
Yeah, because I have ideas. I have ideas, and that's a little scary for most people. Yeah. My business partners used to say, "Oh my gosh, I overwhelm them with freaking ideas." But that's just me, you know. When you some people just think big and think crazy and think outside of the box, but you know, without us crazy people doing that, doesn't mean that I'm gonna freaking jump and dive into each one of them like full force and like, yeah, you know. No, it's just I'm sharing that with the world because maybe my idea is perfect for you, but it's not perfect for me, you know. Like, I don't know. So I might go into recovery work and see if I can't help people holistically with their path forward in recovery to some degree, and pair that with real estate.
Are you doing real estate or Realtors Anonymous?
I'm Realtors Anonymous. Oh my God.
Like, I'm dead serious.
Yes,
I think half of us
like do this thing without drinking or using. I don't know. I don't think I'd have a huge following, but maybe. Maybe I do know some people in the program that are independent realtors. Surprisingly, not many, but yeah. So I don't know, but I think it's going to look different. I think I'm going to go more into the leadership in a coaching, mentorship, maybe productivity world. I love speaking. I love talking with people. So maybe it'll be motivational speaking. Maybe it'll be a lot of different things, but I think that getting back to the people that I know are hungry for authenticity, hungry for being healthy in this space, whatever that space may be.
Yeah. So what would you say is one of your biggest concerns right now in the current market that we sit in?
Isolation, which is kind of isolation. And I thought for me, like I thought COVID for sure was going to be like the catalyst for creating more of a divide. I think it definitely, like, we didn't expect the market to do what it did after like the shutdown, but it you know, business fell in our laps. And I think that now with the market change, people don't know how to ask for help.
Mm-hmm.
So we are a group of very prideful human beings that let a lot of our ego get in the way and say, you know what, I need help. Or maybe they don't feel like there's a strong enough support system, and that could be broker wise. That could be, you know, we had that conversation before we went on air today, but like, I think that we just are a group of people working independently. And, you know, when I moved to, when the dissolving of our team happened, and it was unexpected, and it was probably one of the biggest heartaches that I think I've gone through in a very long time. But just because something isn't outlined or it's not looking a traditional way. It doesn't mean that your support system, your network of people can't be just as strong. Like a rope can be a different makeup. It can be a different weave, and it can be just as strong, right? So like for me, I'm looking at this as this is my opportunity to create an alliance of people that I might have. Like one of your people is Michelle, right? At EXP.
Parker, yeah.
Yeah. So like our people have people that they don't need to be under the same brokerage. Like they don't, you don't.
And I aren't.
Yeah,
She's Berkshire.
Yeah, you're Berkshire. So like you don't need, but that's the thing though. Like everybody thinks that
another one of my best friends is at a commercial firm. Like,
see, that's what I'm saying.
I don't like anybody from mine. Not true.
Irish said, I don't think that's true there, Nicholas.
That's secretly why I left. So that we should remain friends.
Right? She's like, that's it, I'm out.
But yeah, like it doesn't, like I feel like everybody thinks it's supposed to look a certain way. It doesn't have to look a certain way. I don't have to be 150% Amy the realtor, and that's all I've known as a survival mechanism for so long. I can be Amy the freaking motivational speaker. I could be Amy, someone who's out there providing hope for people that feel that they have none. I have you could go out and say, oh my gosh, you're incredibly gifted in so many different areas other than real estate. You could go out and become those things because that's going to further serve you in every other capacity. So I don't need to have the formal definition of a team because I've got my own tribe. Like I don't need it to be. And I don't need society telling me that that's the only way that it needs to be. Like, so, where are we going with that? Oh, 5 years?
I want to go back though. No, biggest issue in the market right now.
Oh yeah. So yeah, isolation.
You said something there that really hits home with me, and it's something that I've been saying for years is you said about egos getting in the way. And a coach that I spoke to once, Dr. Rick Rigsby, his statement to that, and I use it still to this day, is ego is the anesthesia that deadens the pain of stupidity.
Oh, that's a good one.
And that sits with me, and it hits home because anytime I see somebody allowing their ego to get in the way of whether it's progress or collaboration or growth, I just shake my head and I'm like, all you're doing, you look stupid. You look stupid. So I really like how you tied that together right there, because that is the truth. And we live in this industry for the public that doesn't really understand how real estate works, and if an agent's never explained it to you, shame on them, not you, is you eat what you kill. If you're not bringing it to the table, you're not eating it. So many people, as I hit the mic, get in this mindset of, oh my God, I can't talk to you because you're going to come try to steal my business.
Oh my gosh.
Do you want some? I'll give you. Like, I have 3 clients right now. I will gladly pass off to anybody. Like, you can't think that way. And I think that I'm one of the oddballs. There's not many of us out there. I don't want to make that statement broadly, because there probably are. And, the ones that are probably the most successful, that do have that friend over here, friend over there, friend over here, that you can collaborate with, you can talk to, you can come up with ideas with. You're not under the same roof. And that's completely fine. That is completely fine. You do not have to live inside the little bubble of EXP, Hannah, Berkshire, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Whatever,
I think it's like almost like it does the reverse effect. Like, yes, I'm a family with my, doesn't mean I want to share the same bed with you. Like to me, like an alliance of of your people or a tribe or whatever you want to call it. Like, it's kind of like being able to sleep with someone, but having like none of the responsibility. You know, like not being married. It's like a fling. It's not fling. It's like a committed relationship, but just not in all of the formal, traditional, like, you know, you tap that, you got to put a ring on it. Like, no, you don't. You know, I get to come from a space of, again, authenticity. I can come from a space of me wanting to help you because I want you to succeed, and I don't have any ulterior motive. You know, like there was a lot of struggle with having a team, you know, in that capacity, because if you are a team owner and you're a performer and you put the work in and you do the work and you build that book of business, and you have a newbie that comes in and says, oh my gosh, like you're keeping all the business for yourself. I'm like, no, well, I earned it, and I'm not taking anything that you didn't earn. You know, like you did it, you go out and you earn your business. And so there was always a hem and haw with putting a ring on it and making it formal, because there are boundaries that inevitably get crossed. And I think it's a good thing and a healthy thing to try and cross boundaries, because that creates conflict and creates resolution, and you learn something from it. But in the reality of where I'm at in my career is not any of the boundary crossing that I need to take on anymore. Like I don't need to take on any of that, and I can still have a quality support network that I can be of service to others. They can be of service to me, and it is a win-win for everybody. And I have a safe space to go to talk to somebody. I know that if I am having a struggle with an agent, and I can speak to get a clear perspective, and or I'm kind of struggling with a client, get a clear perspective that it's not something that's going to be just misconstrued drama. That is not why I communicate. I don't communicate for drama. I communicate for help. I communicate for movement forward. I communicate for accountability. I communicate, and it's all with loving intent. People don't know how to do that.
And I think, you know, you touching on that right there is you can have those good sounding boards. You know, Heather's one of mine that you can call up and be like, this is what the person did, blah, 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 blah. They're not going to jump on the bandwagon and also badmouth the person too. They're going to let you vent it out. They're going to let you share. They're going to let you feel better. And then you're going to move on.
Correct. Yep.
Like, I think that there's too many out there that will immediately jump on the bandwagon and just start saying stuff too, because I honestly, I don't even know.
Or to draw you into it. Or to say, you know, and it's reciprocal. So like, I think we understand, this is all people. We're in the people business. Like if you think we're in the house business, people.
Right. We should have had a psychology degree.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you're wrong. You really have to start to understand why people do what they do. And, you know, and you have the right to say, I'm not going to participate.
Yep.
I'm not going to participate. Like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I respect you. I love you. I appreciate you. I know what you're going through, but you know, I can't participate in and take on feeding what I don't think is helpful for you. Yeah. I'm not going to enable that.
Well, Amy, if you could give one piece of advice to an individual who wants to get into the industry that is not currently in the industry, what would that be?
Talk to people, like talk to everybody, like just get comfortable talking to people, really get to understand how people work, because I think that when you know that, you can best serve them. And it doesn't, you know, your experience will come with experience, right? But the better you can understand people, the easier the transaction will be, because anybody can learn the process of a transaction. Anybody can learn that you can, you know, if you have a good support system, you have a good brokerage, that they're going to walk you through any type of hiccups. But if you are in this and you are working with contracts and not with people, not going to work. Or it might work and you're just going to get lucky. You know, and I think that the longevity of what we're trying to shift, I think this out because I hear all these podcasts. I hear social media is just so full of it, and I'm guilty of it too. But I'm also, cognizant of like what we see out there is just everybody sees it sunshine, rainbows, and unicorns. Like it is not. It is not. We see the 5% of what people want us to see, and it's almost always not truth. So you will begin to be the most authentic version of you when you understand that people have the capacity to be that as well. Let yourself be the safe space for people to do that, and your business will, if this is what you want to do with that gift, this will be a great vehicle for it, and you'll make a lot of money. So,
amen.
Thank you so much for coming in and hanging out with us today. I knew you would. Well, everybody, that was another episode of Turning the Key to Real Estate. I am your host, Nicholas Feagley.
And Heather Petrone-Shook.
Don't forget to like, follow, share for more great content like this today.